Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swaggle. And in this video, we got ourselves an update for the comic book index for the month of March. A very interesting update, not necessarily the results I was expecting before I started to crunch the numbers, but very interesting nonetheless, and we're going to talk about it here in this video and then discuss where we might be seeing things going on in the future. Now, I'm going to skip all the jokes about vegetables and moon boys and bear bros because I know you guys want to skip foreplay and get right into it. But the thing that I can't skip is the warning that I have to you guys. This video is intended for informational purposes only. I know there's going to be one guy in the comment section that says, oh, Swaggle only talks about comic books like they're stocks. Their comic books are meant to be read. I know, guy. But this is the one show we do here where we do this, okay? Relax, it's information. You're supposed to use it to, inform you on how you want to buy or how you want to sell or how you want to collect. Let me paint a picture of a user out there who may want to use this video. Maybe ASM 50 has been your grail for the longest time, and you're thinking to yourself, is now the time to buy it? Prices have been going down. What does the index tell me? And you can look at this and you can see the results and you can say, based on how things are trending, maybe I want to wait, or maybe I want to buy now. I don't know. This is information for you guys, and I hope that you find it helpful. Okay, are we clear? Good, good. I'm glad we're clear. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. Also, Sanity, Kickstarter, 9 days left, guys. If you're not into numbers and you're into reading, definitely go check out Sanity. It's a great story. I wrote it myself. I think you'll enjoy it. Link in the description. All right, what is the comic book index? It is the top 100 sold books per age based on popularity, silver, bronze, and copper. I picked the highest volume of grade. That's the one I count. I take the final sale of the month, aka the market close, and I get all of this info from GPA data. So suffice to say, if you were gonna buy the top 100 most in-demand, most sought after, most common key books out there in each age, how much would it cost you to do so on a month-by-month basis? Well, last month it cost you $44,707, which was a little bit lower than the month prior in January at $46,655. Now, in the history of this index, March has always been a good month for that of comic book buying. A lot of people getting into the spring, looking to spend a little more money. So I was expecting that March we would start to see us going up on the Silver Age. But what did we get here in March? Well, we didn't see that at all. We actually went down to $42,029, which is the second lowest total we have seen in the last 6 months. Actually make that the last 3 years or so. Now, while that can seem that comic books are crashing and everything is going down, the one thing you have to remember is that the Silver Age is very, very swinging. I mean, look at these, month by month charts that we sort of see all over this graph. There's a lot more peaks and valleys than that of bronze and copper. So it doesn't really concern me too much. It doesn't feel like the floor is going to drop out. If anything, it sort of feels like these last 6 months have been kind of hovering around the same target area. And I would suspect that in the month of April, we'll probably see an up month, ping-ponging back and forth. And one of the reasons I do expect that is because, we have to flash forward to the Bronze Age. Because in the Bronze Age, last month, we were at 33,906, and we have been going down pretty much, I would say 90% of the months. It's very, very rare that we actually see an upward trend for the Bronze Age. And, of course, the Bronze Age to me is always the index that is maybe the most telling, of where we are in the current state of the market as far as how we evaluate these numbers. I think it's fair to say that the overall trend of comics, at least on graded prices, has been, on a decline the last few years or so. Well, where do we go here in the month of March? Well, we actually had a up month at the $35,397 range. And one of the things that I think is most interesting about this is that if you focus in on the last 4 months, I mean, we had a low of the year, then we went up in January, then we went a little bit down in February, and now we went up once again in March. So a higher high, if you will. Now, again, comic books are not like stocks. It's not as clean as that. But if this were stocks, you would definitely be able to say that, hey, it's looking pretty good. Like, it's looking like, we're sort of at a floor. We're kind of, even Steven. People are looking to buy. People are getting good deals. They're getting good value. And, the prices are maintaining that floor. So while the Silver Age is down because things are swingy, where I look at the Bronze Age here, I think, hey, actually things are pretty stable. And when we flash forward to the Copper Age, which we're going to do right now, at last month we were at 21,753. Here in the month of March, we also had a pretty big up month going to 23,541. So when you kind of put all the months together, we've had some ups, we've had some downs, but maybe overall we've kind of had stability. We've kind of had a little bit more of a trending upwardness. And that seems to be a pretty good indication that things are stable. You can maybe feel confident that if you're somebody out there that wants to buy that graded book, you're not going to lose your hat too much. Now, again, for me personally, I'm always somebody that would rather just buy raw, and if I really wanted to grade it, I'll grade it myself. I always say it's best to hunt for a book and buy it at discount if you can. But if you're somebody who is willing to pay the fair market value, then, you can maybe feel a little more confident that the prices that they're going for right now are in a pretty good spot. All right, let's go through the key takeaways here just to get these numbers clear. And then later on in the video, we're going to talk about the bear and the bull case and also some of the interesting things that, sort of makes me excited about, comic content in the future. All right, for Silver Age, we were at 44,000, dropping down to 42,000, a decrease of 6%. While that is a sizable drop, a lot of it has to do with the non-sale factor that went up a lot this month. That's always a big indication of where the values are going to be. For Bronze Age, 33,000 jumping up to 35,000, an increase of 5%, which again, I think is the most telling thing of the market. And then for Copper Age, we jumped up to 23,541, an increase of 8%. Now, I'm not always so confident that Copper Age increases at any sort of rate, but what did we have this last month or so? Well, we had, X-Men 97, we had a lot of excitement for sort of Copper Age books, so that could have been one of the reasons why the index is up this month. All right, silver book value, 16% down, which is actually quite a lot, especially in comparison to the only 9% that went up. But the biggest reason that the index went down is that 27% non-sale. I would say that anytime you're close to that 30% range for non-sale, that is pretty high, at least as far as what I have seen with the way that I do these calculations. Bronze book values, while we had 17% down and only 12% up, we actually only had 11% non-sale. So I think that there was a fervor out there. There was a lot of demand for people buying books. 11% is pretty low overall. Jumping ahead here to the month-by-month chart, of course, we got to focus in on the purple line. It is a little bit weird to look at the Silver Age and see that, for this calendar year, we've had lower months each time around. But I think the main thing that you can kind of see with it is that it's not too dissimilar of what the cyan line was doing, which was 2023. And, it's still above that of the yellow line, which was 2020. And I would have to imagine that, the purple line is probably going to, maybe it's going to go a little bit lower, but it's going to go pretty horizontal throughout the rest of the year. And I think that that's a positive thing, because what it tells me is that there are more collectors in the hobby today than there were, pre-pandemic. And then also, a lot of the froth that was created in the COVID comic book boom has been taken out of it. So it feels like we're in a really good spot overall. And especially when you look at the trend lines now, the trend lines are not drawn to scale, but generally speaking, we're right in there. And one of the interesting things about the Bronze Age is that, we had a really down month last month at 33,000, and we were kind of going below the trend, but then there was sort of that resistance. It's like the longer we go over, this time horizon, even if, people aren't excited about the MCU, even if, the economy is really tough, I mean, just the natural rate of inflation is going to keep the floor values of some of these books up, and there's going to be enough collectors that are willing to absorb it. Now, the last thing that I always like to show is the psychology of the investor. Maybe we have been in the despair phase, and maybe we're starting to get to that return to mean. I mean, a lot of people are still out there saying that, we haven't seen anything yet, that, the economy could still go into recession. And yeah, that could be true. I mean, certainly if there was like black swan events, or we have an entire economic crash or whatever it is, I mean, things are going to be problems, and people are probably not going to be buying comic books. And for you out there who is a collector, it's going to be a great time for you, because you're going to be able to swoop up all of these great keys. But generally speaking, when we're going to the shows, we went to WonderCon this weekend, King Kong was on the East Coast, seemed like there was a lot of excitement there. It feels like generally there's still a lot of excitement for comic books, still a lot of people out there that are, picking up, their collections, picking up their key books, maybe not as many graded buyers, which admittedly, this index is built off of graded sales. So you have to take that into consideration. And that's going to be a lot of the reason why, a lot of the values have dropped down. But again, this is just info for you guys and for us to sort of determine, if those books that we want in our collection, if those key books that we want to, take the plunge and make a purchase on are in a good spot, or in a fair market value that we feel comfortable spending, where we're not going to lose, 25% of our value or overspend, because later on this year, it's going to go to zero. But let me know what you guys think about these results overall. I think the thing that is kind of exciting to me is that, it's been a long time since I've made content on this channel, which is like undervalued books to get, or, these are 5 hot books, or these are 5 cold books, or whatever, because I kind of felt like it was not worth talking about, because it really did seem like, at least in silver, bronze, and copper, all of those key books were going to be losing a lot of value over the course of the next few months. I mean, since I've been doing this index and following it, it seemed like, okay, yeah, people are selling these books, people are getting out of their keys, maybe they're buying up Golden Age, to protect their comic book values. And that's why, the Golden Age has done so well, because people are moving money into that. So I haven't really made that type of content, but now kind of where we're going, it does sort of feel like, with this stability, we can kind of have, conversations once again about, hey, these seem like good buys right now. Like, oh, hey, this seems like a book that has maybe overcorrected, and we can maybe start to have some of those conversations, maybe start to have some of that type of content if you guys think that that is interesting. Now, again, like I always say, you don't want to just buy the first one you see on eBay for all of these books, with the fair market value. It's better to go hunt and find them in the wild and get it graded yourself if you actually want to grade it. Anyways, that's all I got for this video. Let me know what you guys think about this index update. Let me know what you guys are feeling in terms of your comic book purchasing habits. Have you been somebody out there who's more willing to make that purchase on that one key book you want to have in your collection? Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Sanity, link in the description. 9 days left. I appreciate your support.